Knights this week. Welcome to Knights this week. This week on Knights this week, we're going to give you some more exciting news on World Junior selections. And we're going to look at a couple games the Knights played this past week. 2 games on our Knights this week we're going to look at. And we're going to get to a bit of an injury update as well. Knights this week. Hello, Knight fans. This is your super fan, Jason Banks here, bringing you another edition of Knights this week. Wow! Yeah, that's right. Knights this week. First thing, I want to share with you some exciting news out of Knights land. Not surprising news, but exciting news that was definitely confirmed this past week. Of course, last week on Knights this week, I mentioned that Knights defenseman Victor Mete had been given an invite to try out for Canada's World Junior camp that will be up in Montreal. The World Juniors are in Montreal, Toronto this year. So Victor Mete, the only Knight to be selected for Team Canada. But let's not forget about the other countries, because not a surprise whatsoever, our all-star goaltender Tyler Parsons has got an invite to the U.S. selection camp. And it would be a real head-scratcher if the USA sent him back. He should be one of the top 2 goaltenders, if not the top starting goaltender for Team USA at the World Juniors. So Tyler Parsons off to the World Juniors. And got to give you an update from the Finnish camp. The only 2 Finland players we have on our team, defenseman Olli Juolevi and forward Jani Kaukonen, they have both been as well selected by the Finland World Junior selection camp. So, that is 4 Knights selected to the World Juniors. Victor Mete for Team Canada, Tyler Parsons for Team USA, and Juolevi and Kaukonen for Team Finland. So for that, of course, I think we got to give them a big round of applause. So let's do that, shall we? Let's give them all a round of applause for their great effort and recognition. So, just give me a second. Yeah, round of applause. Yeah, let's give them all a round of applause. Those 4 London Knight players, congratulations to them all for their World Junior selection camps. Now, we got a bit of an injury update to give to you on one of our top forwards for sure. He was playing on the top line for quite a bit of the season. And it's a bit of it hasn't been formally announced, but this is courtesy of one of the Knights announcers that do the games on Rogers. He was talking in the second intermission at one of the games last week. And according to this announcer, Rick Doyle, courtesy of Rick Doyle, he has said that forward Max Jones is not expected back until at least late January into the lineup. So that is straight from Rick Doyle, one of the Knights announcers. So what does that tell you about Max Jones? That tells you that he's probably broken a bone. Definitely has broken something, and that is why he is going to be out so long. So Max Jones, suffice to say, unfortunately for him, he is not going to be part of the World Juniors. I would think if Max Jones was healthy, he would have definitely been given an invite by Team USA. But Max Jones, unfortunately, is still going to be out quite a while injured. What a terrible season for Max Jones. He has had rotten luck with injuries this year. Let's hope that when he gets back in late January, the guy stays healthy, contributes like he was, and hopefully that will be a difference maker for the Knights as they try to defend the throne. And they're trying to defend the throne in the midst of a really, really tough Western Conference again this year. And it's going to be a dogfight in that Western Conference again, because the London Knights are not first coming into play this week, although they should be because they got games in hand, obviously. But the Erie Otters are first place in the Western Conference, those stubborn Erie Otters again, and get them full props. The Erie Otters are turning into another London Knight team. They seem to be able to just put out contender year after year after year, the Erie Otters. So they are in first place, although the London Knights coming into play this coming week have 3 games in hand on them. So those are huge. That's a huge advantage for the Knights if they take an opportunity of that. Okay, not only Erie, but Sault Ste. Marie has got a really good team this year. In fact, in the other conference, they are ahead. In the other division, they are ahead of the Windsor Spitfires, who are hosting the Memorial Cup. And you might want to throw Kitchener and Sarnia in the mix too. They're kind of in there in the top 6 with some pretty decent teams too. So the Western Conference is going to be one heck of a dogfight again this year. And last year, the London Knights swept right through it, minus the first round. But health is going to be a key factor for the Knights, I think. And hopefully, at the trade deadline, they will make a couple of moves to solidify their team. All right. So there's the news that we got to give you out of Knights Land this week about the players and their contributions, and job well done on 4 of those players. So let's get to our games this week. 2 games I want to cover. The first game happened, they're both home games actually. The first game was a Friday night game here last Friday, December the 2nd, against the Owen Sound Attack. Now, if you recall, it wasn't that long ago the London Knights were in Owen Sound, and the Owen Sound Attack beat them in a shootout up there with some incredible heroics from goaltender Michael McNiven, who actually is going to Team Canada's camp. So Team Canada looks like they're getting a really great goaltender in Michael McNiven. But anyway, he kind of robbed that game in Owen Sound. Return engagement here at Budweiser Gardens last Friday night. And it seemed like the same kind of deja vu all over again. The London Knights go to yet another shootout with the Owen Sound Attack. And yet again, they go to a shootout and get beat by the Owen Sound Attack in a shootout. Owen Sound got 2 goals. The Knights didn't get any. Zippo, nada, nil. So a lot of Knights have not won a shootout game this year. They're not very good in the shootouts. But yeah, the Owen Sound Attack got us again in a shootout. Some fans call this probably one of the worst games they've played all year at home, this Owen Sound game, because the effort wasn't there, the passion wasn't there, and they still got a point out of it. So a lot of Knights got a point out of the Owen Sound game. Let's give you some game details about it. First of all, let's give you the goal scorers. So for Owen Sound, Aiden Dudis and Petrus Palmuz got the goals for Owen Sound. And for the Knights, you had goals from Yanni Kalkinen and Alex Formanton as the Owen Sound Attack beat the London Knights 3-2 on the Friday night game. Let's just go up here a little bit. The Knights only had 14 shots through 2 periods. This is kind of the effort I was talking about. Not much effort, not much passion, not much intensity. Wasn't hardly enough shots at all against a quality goaltender like Michael McNiven. JJ Pickenidge, the captain of the Knights, said this about their game: "I thought we were going to come out with a better effort. Sometimes you don't always. But we've been pretty consistent. To take that to a shootout with the effort I thought we put out there, not that it's a positive, but we got a point, and it's part of this run that we're on. Everyone's pretty calm in the room." So, another thing that has been an issue for the Knights this year is having issues with the man advantage. Power play is not very good for the Knights this year. Coming into this game, they were 0 for 20 on the power play over the last 5 games. They did get a power play goal in this game against Owen Sound, but it wasn't enough to get the win for the London Knights. So now going back to last season, of course, in the first round of the playoffs, Knights were taken to 6 games by the Owen Sound Attack, and now in 2 games this year, the Owen Sound Attack have beaten us twice. So, if you look at the last 8 games, Owen Sound Attack have won half of them. So, this team is turning out to be a real thorn in the Knights' side. I guess the key for the London Knights in future games is win it in regulation. Don't let it go to a shootout, because if you're going to let it go to a shootout, probably you're not going to win. I gave you the goal scorers in this game for the London Knights. Your goal scorers were Alex Formanton and Jauni Kaukonen. The 3 stars of the game and the attack 3-2 shootout win was Jauni Kaukonen. The London Knights, he tied it late. Actually, the Knights are trailing 2-1 in the third period before Kaukonen tied it at the 16:28 mark to send it to overtime. So he was the 3rd star of this game. The 2nd star of the game in this game was, let me just get it down here. 2nd star is Alex Formanton, who got a goal for the Knights. And the 1st star, Michael McNiven, once again at the Owen Sound Attack. Michael McNiven, I'm telling you something, Michael McNiven is not a goaltender you want to face in the first round of playoffs, I don't think. I think if you're the Knights, you want to try to do everything in your power to avoid getting the Owen Sound Attack in the first round of the playoffs. And I say, let Owen Sound get Erie, or let Owen Sound get Sault Ste. Marie, or somebody else. Just not the Knights. But the Knights have gotten 2 points against them this year, but 2 losses. So, the Attack beat them 3-2. Then on the Sunday game, we had the Flint Firebirds here in the town. This was the Sunday afternoon game. And it was also, it was also the Teddy Bear Toss game, the annual Teddy Bear Toss game. I've been to a couple of these over my time. They're pretty fun. You bring a bear or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, however many you want. And when the London Knights score their first goal, you throw them out on the ice, and all the bears go towards the Salvation Army for kids who don't get much for Christmas. So, not only was this an interesting game in the aspect of that, but Cole Sherwood, former London Knight, was traded to the Flint Firebirds early in the season, and he returned back to Budweiser Gardens to play against his former team. And he did get a goal, actually, but it wasn't enough, as the London Knights took care of the Flint Firebirds 6-2 in this game in the Teddy Bear Toss game. I have a teddy bear right here. Woo! Threw him out. Yeah, there you go. So the Teddy Bear Toss game, it was Sam Militic who made it rain teddy bears. And he was the guy who got the first goal. The London Knights didn't get their first goal until the second period, actually, because Cole Sherwood, former London Knight, opened the scoring in the first period at 11:52 to make it 1-0. But once the London Knights got going, they got going. And it was at 8:04 at the second period that Sam Militic got his 18th goal of the season to unleash all the teddy bears onto the ice. So Sam Militic got the Knights going, and it was a little over a minute later, he scores again, Sam Militic, to make it 2-1. It was his 19th goal of the season. And then at 11:52, so we're talking about 3 goals within the span of a little over 2 minutes. Robert Thomas got his 10th goal of the season from J.J. Pickenidge and Victor Mete to make it 3-1 at the end of 2. Flint got it going early in the third period. Camano got his 14th goal of the season. But the London Knights get 3 more in that third period. J.J. Pekinich got his 11th goal from Thomas and Juolevi. Adrian Carbonera, the newest Knight that they picked up in a trade from Barrie, got his 6th goal of the season from Owen McDonald. And then to finish it out in the third period, Robert Thomas got his 11th goal of the season from Sam Miletic to make it a 6-2 final for the London Knights. So, the London Knights beat the Owen Sound Attack 6-2. One thing I want to talk about with this game is the incredible game that Robbie Thomas had. Robbie Thomas was the first star of this game beyond a shadow of a doubt because he got 5 points in this game. Robert Thomas got 5 points. He got 2 goals and 3 assists in this game. So he was the first star in this game. And because he got 5 points, you know what that means. Because he got 5 points, I think we need to do this. We need to do this because he got 5 points. He didn't get the hat trick, but he certainly got 5 points. So, we got to do the Knights dance in honor of Robert Thomas. Yeah. Congratulations to Robert Thomas on his first 5-point game in the OHL. He is a very solid player. He got 5 points in that game. Who are the other stars in this game? Well, second star in this game is Sam Miletic. Sam Miletic had a very strong game in this game. He got 2 goals himself, and he also got an assist as well. So he was the second star of the game. And the third star of the game was your captain, J.J. Pekinich. J.J. Pekinich had 2 assists and a goal in the game. As the London Knights beat the Flint Firebirds on Teddy Bear Toss game 6-2 at Budweiser Gardens. So, let's give you an update on where the Knights are in terms of points and in terms of other things like that. And in fact, if you want to look back over their schedule in the last little while, the London Knights have not lost a regulation game since November the 6th. November 6th, Hamilton Bulldogs came into town and beat them 7-5. But since then, the London Knights have not lost any regulation games, so that is a streak of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 games with at least a point in every game for the London Knights. So, the London Knights will be at the top of the OHL standings, right? No, wrong. They are not at the top of the OHL standings, even though they've only got 3 regulation losses all year long. The Erie Otters are ahead of the London Knights by 3 points coming into play this weekend. But, as I said earlier, the London Knights have 3 games in hand on the Erie Otters, so Erie has played 3 games more than the Knights. But, nevertheless, here's the Erie Otters. Another team, another year to contend with the Erie Otters. But, I really do think that the London Knights are a better team than Erie, and I think if they played head-to-head, that would prove that. And they don't play Erie for a while yet, which is good. Hopefully by the time they play Erie, they got a full lineup and Max Jones is back healthy. But the London Knights right now have 19 wins, 3 losses, 2 overtime losses, and 2 shootout losses for a total of 43 points. But they are 3 points behind the Erie Otters for tops in the Western Conference. And that Western Conference, again, shaping up to be a beast again this year. Like every year, it seems like the balance of the power is in that conference. But still a pretty good record for the London Knights at defending Memorial Cup champions. And you're doing pretty good. In terms of the CHL, They are still holding the ranking they held last week, and that's second in the CHL. And that's only behind the first place Regina Pats out west, who some people think the Knights have no chance of beating if they were to meet them in the Memorial Cup. But wouldn't bet my farm on that. The Knights were kind of viewed last year as, oh, you know, we can't beat the Roy Noranda Huskies, and they did. So the Knights still ranked number 2nd in the country, coming into play this weekend. Now, when we get to Knights this week, next week, it's going to be a very busy Knights this week, next week, because the Knights do have 3 games this weekend, 3 games in 3 days. So I'll recap those next week for you on Knights this week. But those were the 2 games and the news out of Knights land this week. What we have to do here to end us out here on Knights this week, of course, again, is we have to do the Knights dance. So let's end Knights this week with this. And next week, we'll take a look at that weekend's games as a lot of Knights keep rolling on here on Knights this week. We'll see you next week on Knights This Week. Take care.